It was a homecoming of sort when recently the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, Amina Mohammed, visited the office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Sustainable Development Goals in Abuja. The United Nations Deputy Scribe is a former occupant of the office to which she was paying a visit and had during her time in the office set the standard which many believed would always require someone with a Midas touch to match or possibly surpass. Those who thought so may not be mistaken. During the period she occupied the office, the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations built the office from the scratch, raising it to an enviable position and reference point in the public sector. Previously known as the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Millennium Development Goal, before the adoption of the Successor Framework in 2015, the office had then initiated some best practices like the conditional grant scheme, which have today become the foundation upon which more blocks are being laid by the Princess Adejoke Orelokpe Adefulire leadership in the quest to successfully deliver on the Sustainable Development Goals.
Buhari's administration. So for us at national level, Your Excellency, we have achieved integration of the SDGs into our medium and long-term development plans. What is now left behind is to ensure that the 36 states and the FCT are also doing SDG-based development planning, either medium or long-term.
Indeed, the sterling performance and laudable achievements of the Muhammadu Buhari administration in the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals through Princess Adejoke Orelokpe Adefulire have attracted the attention of many, including the visiting Amina Mohammed. For this, the UN Deputy Scribe did not hold back her kind words on the efficient, effective, and excellent performance of Princess Adejoke Orelokpe Adefulire and her team.
The genesis of Nigeria being recognized has come from this office and the work of many people I see around here, and I want to thank you for that. What the SSAP SDGs has been able to do is to build on foundations that have been laid, and that's unusual. That's unusual leadership, which recognizes that there is history and that there are things that have been done that Nigerians have benefited from. And what she's done is taken it to a different level, a level that has surpassed what was laid, and really we have begun to see the fruits of not just the MDGs, but the SDGs, which is the MDGs 2.0. So I want to thank Princess.
The UN Deputy Secretary General particularly traced the remarkable successes recorded by the Office of the Commitment of Princess Orelokpe Adefulire to serving humanity and the experience she garnered at the subnational government, where she served as Commissioner and Deputy Governor before she was spotted and appointed by President Muhammadu Buhari to assist in coordinating the implementation of the SDGs in Nigeria.
But the relationship with my sister goes back to a time when we were doing the MDGs and I was addressing the governors in an evening event of the Governors Forum. And we had started the conditional grants. And there were a lot of conditions where first the National Assembly said that if we give conditional grants to the state governments, how do we know that they will do what they're supposed to do? And so we said, no, we have to take that chance. If they put their money down, we'll put our money down. We'll put legal frameworks around. We will do M&E. We will do all sorts of things. And so we started them. And there were two governors that didn't quite follow the conditions. And they were not, the first governor was one that, we'll leave that story for another day. But the second governor was Governor Fashola. And what he said was that, we were asking for reporting on what you did with the conditional grants that we gave. And he was arguing, that Lagos is Nigeria, and so therefore, why would they need to report? And I was explaining to him, he signed an agreement, and as a SAN, he should know that agreement needs to be fulfilled. Anyway, he argued as men will do with women because, we're not supposed to be equal, but we are. And the woman that bailed him was this lady, his deputy governor. in the end, he was grateful to her because she was able to resolve that problem. And the reporting that came back, it's not that Lagos State didn't spend the money. They did it very well in Lagos, but it is because of this lady that they were able to document it and give it back and show the value of the MDGs money to the people of Lagos State. And I want to thank you for that because your integrity and your leadership.
While the scorecard of the implementation of the SDGs in Nigeria is replete with numerous success stories, the effort of the SDGs office to ensure that required data are provided for effective planning, tracking, monitoring, and evaluation particularly caught the attention of the UN Deputy Secretary General. Amina Mohammed identified as remarkable achievements the baseline study carried out by the OSAP SDGs, the realignment of the National Statistical System with the signing of data bond with ministries, departments and agencies of the federal government and the government at the sub-national level. The data bond is designed to help provide accurate statistics for more effective implementation of projects and policy formation.
You have done something quite remarkable, and I hope that we can amplify this at the global level, and that is to address data. What you don't see does not get known or invested in. If we say the majority of Nigerians are living below the poverty line, who are they, where are they, and how can we reach them? And so for me to see the level of investments that you've made to try to get the baselines out is extraordinary. It's the first time I'm hearing of a data bond, and I think that's extraordinary. And so communicate this, and the UN will help you to do that, because this is something that, frankly, we don't invest in it. We say that data is the lifeblood of planning, and without it, we don't know where we come from, we don't know where we're going.
No doubt the accolades rained on Princess Adejoke Orilokpe Adefolire and her team by the UN Deputy Secretary General has lent yet another remarkable credence to the notion that the implementation of the SDGs in Nigeria is on the right track. Indeed, since the commencement of the implementation of the SDGs on January 1, 2016, President Muhammadu Buhari-led government through the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on SDGs has been taking concrete steps towards the actualization of the goals. For the government, the attainment of the goals is synonymous to giving meaningful development to the citizens. The government has demonstrated her commitment by establishing a robust institutional arrangement for the implementation of the goals, while also driving the SDGs with innovations and implementation of pro-poor and pro-development programs. The government also set up the Private Sector Advisory Group, the Donors Partnership Forum, and the Civil Society Strategy Group as key partners for the SDGs in a bid to strengthen the national awareness around the goals and build strong commitment towards effective collaborations with all stakeholders. The office has also been mobilizing hundreds of core members across the country every year since 2017 as SDGs champions to take the campaign on implementation of SDGs to the grassroots in various parts of the country, while 13 frontline celebrities have been enlisted as SDGs ambassadors to help communicate the messages of Agenda 2030, as well as generate momentum and citizens' commitment for the achievement of the SDGs in Nigeria. The government has also been carefully mainstreaming the SDGs into policies, plans, and annual budgets at national and sub-national levels, while also ensuring that actual expenditures are aligned with such plans and budgets. This was taken to a higher level when the office launched the Integrated Sustainable Development Goals (ISDG) simulation model in 2019 at the sideline of the 74th session of the UN General Assembly in New York, thereby placing Nigeria on the elite list of the few countries, if not the first country in the global south, to have developed a homegrown analytical framework for SDGs integration. And it is believed This will go a long way in helping to bridge the policy, planning, budgeting gap in the quest to achieve the SDGs in Nigeria. The office has also developed a 10-year plan for the implementation of the SDGs, while efforts are being intensified to come up with a sustainable financing mechanism tagged Integrated National Financing Framework (INFF) for sustainable development, which is designed to strengthen the commitment of policymakers, development practitioners, and private investors in the implementation of the SDGs. These are all in addition to the government presenting 2 national reviews to the United Nations in 2017 and 2020. Nigeria is one of the few countries to have done this. The UN Deputy Secretary General, who was apparently elated with the resounding progress so far recorded by Nigeria in the implementation of the SDGs, further re-echoed the importance of continuing in that trajectory in a bid to build the desired world for the people. To further intensify this, she offered a recipe rooted and anchored on the importance of power, connectivity, and food security to the full value chain, and advised the government to continue to invest massively in them.
What I would encourage this office to do in the context of the national plan, in the context of the state plans, and congratulations to the few states that you have embarked upon, is to focus on how we would do the energy transition. It's important that we move away from fossil fuels, but that is a transition, a decade, 2 decades. Rural areas, as the SSAP has informed me, are using solar power. It's important, it's off-grid often, but it will, once you use power, you will find that business and industry will move at the local level and therefore add to the GDP of this country. The second, of course, is connectivity. Everybody knows today the world is connected because of the internet. It is a form of communication for young people. It is also a form of business. E-commerce is happening on those platforms faster than we've ever seen business. And that lifts the informal sector to the level of formality where everyone can participate. So connectivity is also another problem, and another challenge that we have to address, an opportunity. It is linked to power, because without that energy transition, we'll not have the connectivity either. And the last, I think, but not the least, is of course the food security. And so the food systems investments that one makes is important to the full value chain. Young people, and of course we're talking about women as well, who have the burden of productivity and production in this country of the food systems. If these 3 taken together form core investments for government, I believe all the SDGs will be attained, because they include education, they include health and nutrition, they include the partnerships, the strong institutions that we need to invest in. If we make these investments, we will resolve the climate action issues that we need to take. We will resolve basic IGR that is increased from domestic resources, so that we can deliver services, reduce poverty, social protection programs. They're all integrated in one way or another, but sometimes one needs some focus. Where do you put the money? And I think if we put it in infrastructure, on connectivity, on energy, and then of course the whole value chain of food production and systems, it would be, I think, an effective way of moving forward.
Expectedly, the Buhari administration, through the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Sustainable Development Goals, has been taking actions in these directions. One of such efforts was the state-of-the-art Skill Acquisition Center and block of classrooms recently commissioned by the office in Gombe and witnessed by the UN Deputy Secretary General as special guest of honor.
Establishing this vocational and skill acquisition center at your doorstep is a unique opportunity that must be well utilized. Our office and Gombe State Government has worked closely and tirelessly to construct and furnish this skill acquisition center, known as Amina Mohammed Skill Acquisition Center for the state, as a strategic tool for the economic empowerment of our teeming youth in the state to address Sustainable Development Goal 1, Goal 2, Goal 4, Goal 5, Goal 8, and Goal 17, which is partnership. The center we are about to commission now will teach 14 different vocational training for young men and women. What we are doing today will definitely change the life of our young people for better. And I want to encourage all our youth that are going to be trained here at this center to consider themselves very, very lucky and to use this opportunity wisely, so that in no time you can all be employer of labor and thereby contributing positively to social economic development of your immediate community, which is Gombe State and Nigeria at large.
The investment of the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on SDGs to invest massively skills development for the youth is hinged largely on the realization that no meaningful progress can be made in the areas of economic development, securing the country, and stamping out of corruption in the society without productive engagement of the youth. The fully equipped Skill Acquisition Center and block of classrooms named after the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, Amina Mohammed, will see over 1,200 youth empowered with life skills annually in Gombe State as the government continues to intensify efforts to halt and reverse the worrisome rate of unemployment in the country. The Skill Acquisition Center is designed to be a strategic tool for the economic empowerment and cater for various life skills trainings for young men and women in the areas of sewing, fashion and dressmaking, information and communications technology (ICT), photography, hairstyling and cosmetology, barbing, catering, tiling and interlocking, aluminium fabrication and welding, automobile and plumbing. The facility, which is one of the numerous centers constructed and equipped across the country, also has provision for short-term training on bead making, soap making, makeup artistry, event planning, painting, drawing, weaving, and shoemaking. To achieve the cardinal objectives of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration, which is to improve the economy, secure the country, and to stamp out corruption in the society, youth must be encouraged to use their hands to work for a living and to shun crime, as a crime-free society is that where youth are productively engaged. There is empirical evidence that demonstrates that investing in youth will lead to poverty eradication, which in turn leads to social security, thereby achieving SDGs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 16, and 17 respectively. This is one fact that makes the center key to the attainment of the Global Development Agenda. Emphasizing the import of the center to the attainment of the Global Development Agenda, the SDGs boss maintained that a man or woman that is empowered with the requisite skill set is more likely to conquer poverty, which addresses Goal 1, no poverty. This is directly related to Goal 2, zero hunger, as he or she is more likely to be able to feed himself or herself and the family. With poverty eradication from the family, the probability of attaining Goal 3, good health and well-being, as well as Goal 4, quality education for the children, becomes higher. The same applies to Goal 5, gender equality, as empowerment of women is one of the most potent recipes for gender equality. In the same vein, life skills development increases the provision of decent works and economic growth, as evident in Goal 8. It promotes innovation and infrastructural development, Goal 9, as well as helps in fostering peace and justice, Goal 16. Governor of Gombe State, Muhammadu Inuwa Yahaya, who commissioned the center, acknowledged the impact the project will have in addressing the challenges of unemployment in the state and maintained that his administration will continue to work hard to improve human capital development in the state.
I would like to assure you that we will utilize this building, we will use it for the service of these people that you saw. While coming here, you saw happiness, you saw joy, and you saw the passion with which they want to utilize this place. And that we shall keep and sustain so that by, inshallah, the end of this tenure, our young men and women would acquire the skills that they need to advance the course of their lives. What you are doing, inshallah, will make us very proud as a people and will make you as one of the ambassadors of Gombe State, to be very proud of your own people.
Also speaking, the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, Amina Mohammed, in whose honor the center and block of classrooms were built, commended the Senior Special Assistant to the President on SDGs, Princess Adejoke Orilokpe Adefolire, for her commitment to the fight against unemployment and laudable steps to promote economic development.
I want to thank the Princess, my sister, but also for the work that she has done. There was a little gap after I left, but that gap has been sealed, and she has also built enormous strides around the country. And for her to come to Gombe to do the things that she has done shows not only that she remembers that once upon a time the seeds of the MDGs were sown by a Gombaite.
Thank you, madam.
And for that, we thank you. We thank you for the Skills Acquisition Center, also for the school, and of course of the hospital. The SDGs are about human development, but they're also about the environment. They're about the economy. They're about an economy that includes everybody. And I think that you have seen the governor of the state do so. You have seen the federal government in the presence of Princess to do that for us, and I think that that is important. This skills acquisition is for young people, it's for women. It is not only an education that one wants, but when there is not a job, if you yourself are trained to get the job from the market, from the opportunities of your state, you will not be idle. You can build your own future beyond just a job. You can become an employer and employ others. So I want all young people to understand it's not just the job. You too can create jobs.
With COVID-19 pandemic challenging the nation's health system, and with over 10 million children reportedly out of school, there has been urgent need to scale up investment in the health and educational sectors, and this has necessitated the decision of the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on SDGs to invest massively in them. These strategic interventions are directly linked to the achievement of SDG 3 and quality health and well-being for all. Goal 4 on quality and inclusive education for all and other cross-cutting SDGs. Princess Adejoke Orilokpe Adefolire stated that her office has embarked on essential health sector intervention aimed at reducing child mortality rate, which has led to the construction of 149 beds, 120 beds, and 80 beds hospitals in 32 states across the country, and the establishment of about 200 primary healthcare centers in all the 36 states of the Federation.
When we came in, we found out that the infant and maternal mortality are high. With the support of the office and intervention that we have introduced, we have also completed both 149, 120 and 100 bed hospital in about 32 states of the Federation. So we hope that the remaining state will be, and FCT will be taken this year or next year by the grace of God. Of course, the critical infrastructure, which is primary healthcare center. As we speak now, we have done more than 200 primary healthcare centers to support some states, maybe I think all the 36 states of the Federation, to ensure that at local a rural community, riverine community gets as a health coverage, and they get well treated, and that is the spirit of leaving no one behind.
The presidential advisor on SDGs also stated that over 2,000 classrooms have been constructed across the country to enhance basic education and reduce number of out-of-school children, while advocacy for the goals is encouraged among children through the creation of cartoon-illustrated Sustainable Development Goals books for pupils in primary schools. In a similar fashion, the OSAP SDGs has also translated the 17 SDGs and 169 targets into the 3 major Nigerian languages, Hausa, Yoruba, and Igbo, for deeper understanding.
So we just completed this and has been sent to all the schools, primary schools in Nigeria to catch them young, to know what SDGs is all about. We are trying also to get the secondary school version, working on it. By the end of the year, that will be ready and will be deployed to all the schools in the federation, and they're all free, not to be sold to anybody. It's free. So all of these together we are doing to ensure that we leave no one behind.
As one of the leaders who signed up for the adoption of the global agenda, President Muhammadu Buhari repeatedly declared his unflinching commitment to the attainment of the 17 goals and 169 targets, while also providing it with institutional and financial support. And it seems to have found a competent lieutenant to help in delivering on that mandate in Princess Adejoke Orilokpe Adefolire.